Friday's coming up. Maybe your weekend started early because today was hurricane day here in South Florida. I hope everybody's safe and I hope you can hear me okay. I'm just out here in the garage watching the breeze, staying dry. Hope everybody's doing okay. Weekends, right? If you're on track Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you feel like things just, crap hits the fan Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're not alone. That's very, very common. I'm going to give you a few tips here, not just to change your behaviors on the weekends, but just to change your mindset too, because it is a big source of stress when you feel like you can't fully enjoy life because of your health, fitness, nutrition, body composition goals, right? That's no way to live. My husband and I have two different kind of schools of thought, right? He's a bodybuilder. He's very, very dialed in with his nutrition 7 out of 7 days of the week. Now, last night we coordinated and we got some sushi and we had our date night. And that's an important thing for us to do once or twice a week. So I want you to think about weekends as being that once or twice a week where you do allow yourself to have a special meal that you are really looking forward to, that you're going to enjoy, that you're going to savor, that you're going to share with loved ones, because that's really, really important, okay? Don't think about yourself on the weekends as being bad. Think about it as you want to reduce stress from your week, you want to relax, and we're going to help you just make slightly better choices when you're doing that, right? Because you want to feel good after your weekend. You really don't do yourself any favors if you just throw all your habits out the window. I mean, sure, it's getting you further away from your goals. That's one thing, but it also really affects your mindset and your mental health and, your momentum with the challenge. You can feel that you're not really making the best decisions for your goals, and that dissonance really can stress us out a lot. So I'm here to help ease the stress, okay? Remember, number one, it's all about making slightly better decisions. You do not have to be perfect on the weekends. That is never really the goal, to be 100% perfect. But if we can be 75 to 80% ideal in all the decisions we make on the weekend, and cheat smart, meaning saving our special meals for times that really make the most sense to us because we love the food we're about to eat. It's meaningful. We're going to savor it and enjoy it and not just gobble it down and be like, okay, what's the next thing, right? Then we'll talk about healthy eating on the go. That can be applied during the week as well. We'll talk about tips for dining out and tips for special occasions and holidays, okay? So this is a presentation that I made a few years ago. I'm going to cater it to you guys just a little bit with this new recording. Just remember, it's not all or nothing. That mentality is really going to hold us back in the long term if we can't see the gray area in our progress and in our execution of our habits. It's very black and white whether you hit your habit or not each week, but there is that gray zone where you're making improvements and going from hitting your hydration goal, for example, 0 days out of the week, to hitting it 5 or 6 days out of the week. That's still progress. Did you hit 7 in a row? No, but you're making progress toward that. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater just because you weren't 100% perfect, right? There is a middle ground that allows you to still make progress, okay? Um, just just some pointers on changing that mindset. You can think of it in a couple of different analogies. There's some examples on the screen. I always also like to point out to people, like, hey, if you got a flat tire, you're not going to go and slash the other three just because you got one flat tire, right? You're going to fix the flat tire and address the problem. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater when you're not making consistently ideal choices. Just start with recognizing, hey, this is the slightly better decision at this time. And this is a page from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. It's a very dry, boring read, but I really, really liked it. And he has lots of very practical tools. If you're finding that you struggle with building a new habit or breaking an old habit, he's got such simple tools to be successful in those endeavors, okay? And this schematic is one. When you're presented with two choices, it kind of creates this matrix, right? Whether you make a bad choice or a good choice, a bad choice or a good choice, you're always having this fork in the road that will lead you to either a net good day or a net bad day, right? And as long as we land in the net good day, you can see that there are plenty of opportunities here to still have a net good day and make a couple bad choices along the way. But it's not about being perfect, okay? I'm going to skip a couple of these. I'm going to blow them up a little bit. If you want to take a screenshot of this, this is just all about from Precision Nutrition. This is a schematic about meal prep, right? It kind of breaks down a healthy meal for you in that top left-hand corner, just so you can identify the components of a healthy meal and then apply them to for on-the-go eating, packing your snacks, packing your food. There are some examples here in the middle. Packing a snack. People always ask about healthy snack options. What do I do during the day? I need a healthy snack option. I need a high protein option. These are all great options right here around this little purse infographic. And then they have some recipes on here. I'm not much of a recipe person, but if you want to screenshot some of those and explore them, you absolutely can. Now, let's say, for example, you're on the go, it's the weekend, you weren't able to pack something ahead of time and you're stuck at the gas station or you're stuck at the airport. There are absolutely options that you can make that put you in your green zone, right? You can see here we've got our eat more category, eat some category in yellow, and the eat less category in red. Ideally, guys, that eat less category, that stuff's not food. At some point we got to draw the line. We all love to have a few chips and some candy here and there, but we do have to kind of show ourselves a little bit of love and not put that junk in our body as often as possible. We have to say no to those things. Now, if you have it once or twice a month, it's not going to make a big difference. Okay, so don't let me scare you there, but I am slowly but surely developing that as the research is coming out on highly processed meats and on highly processed sugary foods, mainly simple carbohydrates like candies. It's just not good for us. It's not serving us at all. It's just a little dopamine hit. You know what I mean? So take a screenshot of this if you need some ideas for some snacks on the go. At the gas station, I reach for the Core Power Fairlife protein drinks. Those are super easy. Yeah, they're like $5, way overpriced, but it's better than, grabbing one of those taquito rolls or a hot dog from the gas station, right? Okay. Another one, I'm just going to let you guys read through this and take screenshots as you'd like. You can zoom in, take a screenshot, okay? There are plenty of options on the go, but what I want to talk about specifically is when you're dining out or when you're ordering in, okay? This is where things can get a little bit overwhelming and confusing. So, a couple tips that I'm putting on the screen. Good dogs. My dogs are. Yuka, what are you doing? Come inside. Come here. She's like slowly creeping herself out of the garage while I'm not looking. Okay. All right. So, number one, special requests are okay. If you need to ask them, hey, does this come grilled instead of fried? They will most likely say yes, and you can get a grilled option instead of a fried option. Or, hey, can I get the dressing on the side just so you can be in control of how much dressing is applied? Special requests are okay, and sometimes people feel very weird about special requests or substituting out instead of French fries, substituting out something different like some vegetables, or if they bring endless baskets of bread to you at the restaurant, being okay with saying we're good with one basket of bread. You know what I mean? If you know that's your weakness, that's totally my weakness. Bread with butter before a meal. But it's absolutely okay to make that special request. Okay. Ask questions, make sure you know what you're getting, always prioritize protein. So whatever you order, now you know the Palm method, right? Now you know how to estimate if this meal has a good amount of protein based on your needs. Always shoot for at least 1 to 2 palms, depending on what your palm needs are for the day, okay? If possible, you can go ahead and skip your appetizers. And if the bread doesn't mean anything to you, you can go ahead and skip the bread, right? You do not have to adhere to what everybody else at the table is doing. Easier said than done, of course. But if you're really not that jazzed about any of the appetizers, don't waste your time and your money on them, right? If you're not jazzed about the bread, don't waste your appetite on them. Save it for the good stuff, okay? Like I mentioned, you can partition your oils, your sauces, and your dressings if they come on the side. Um, Whenever possible, we do want to limit drinkable calories, okay? So that includes alcohol, that includes sugary drinks, mixed drinks. We want to try and limit them. At the end of the day, on a Saturday, if you're going out to eat and you're like, hey, I just want my one special drink for the week, please go for it. You're going to get more benefit mentally from that one drink than withholding it a lot of the times. If you withhold it and you discover, wow, that wasn't that bad, it turns out that drink didn't mean that much to you, and you can practice skipping that step and breaking that habit because it's not doing you any favors anyways, okay? And then ask for a to-go box early. You do not have to eat the entire meal. No matter what you get at a restaurant, even if it's the healthiest option and you just order chicken and vegetables, it's automatically going to have some added oils, some added ingredients that are going to increase the calorie count. Okay. If you have a weight loss goal, that's not ideal. If you don't really have a weight loss goal, then it's probably not that big of a deal. Okay. But I always recommend have a to-go box. You do not have to come out of that restaurant like feeling like you need to roll down the street. You're so full and just like stuffed. Okay. Get a to-go box and save half of it for the next day. Okay. I do that all the time. Now, holidays and special occasions, that's where things change just a little bit, right? Because that's where the true celebrating happens. Once or twice a week, when you do your date night or your special meal, that's not so much of a pressure socially. When you're at a holiday party or a special occasion, there are some things that have just become tradition and routine. And coming from, my experience with my husband's family, it was totally different. His culture, he's Cuban, and his culture is like, hey, here's this snack. I'm offering you this snack. Please eat it. And at one point, I was just like, babe, I can't do this. I'm eating all the snacks that everybody is offering me, and I'm leaving these parties like feeling like crap. You know what I mean? So I had to really practice. Recognizing that I'm going to eat the snacks that I really, really like. I'm going to pass on the ones that I don't like, which was really hard because the people who were offering the snacks to me were not that happy when I rejected them, but they got used to it after a while. They were like, oh, Becca likes this. She doesn't really like that. It's really hard to break those traditions. Trust me. A simple one is cake at a birthday party. I own a gym, and at almost like I'd say 4 out of 5 birthdays that happen, someone brings a cake to the gym. And I'm like, okay, here we are. A lot of people, that's like their weakness. They are really trying to not have processed carbohydrates and refined sugars. And here we have at the gym a temptation. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think that our gym should be a safe haven where people can, not feel like they have those temptations, right? But that just goes to show how deeply that tradition runs. If there's birthday, there's freaking cake, right? Here's some keys, okay, to navigate those special occasions and those parties. You're going to eat before you leave your house. Let's say you're going to a birthday party. Or how about, let's say you're going to a Halloween party, okay, because Halloween's coming up. Eat before you leave your house. Have a well-rounded, balanced meal with 1 to 2 pounds of protein, some vegetables, and some complex carbohydrates. We'll go over, if you're not sure what a complex carbohydrate looks like or what building a good meal on your plate looks like. I promise I'm going to send you guys a video soon just to clarify some differences within the macronutrients, okay? So don't stress too much. But for now, if you do have a special occasion coming up, you're just going to eat a healthy meal before you leave your house, okay? It does not have to be a perfect healthy meal. You're just going to make sure that you fueled yourself so that you don't arrive starving. When you arrive, this is a game changer. When you arrive, take a lap and take inventory of all the food choices that are available to you, okay? There is going to be, if you don't do this, for example, and there's a buffet line, right? Family style or something like that, and you just start from food number 1 and you aren't really sure what the rest of the table has to offer, right? Because you're just going in line along picking things. You're going to end up picking more things than if you said, okay, so it looks like there's some chicken right there. That'll be my protein. It looks like there's a little, naan bread right here. I'm just going to grab a couple of those with some hummus as well. And, oh, look, there's a salad. I'm going to grab some salad. And then let's say you you find something. This is number five. You find something that you're like, oh man, I haven't had that in a while. That's a real treat. I'm really looking forward to eating this special treat. Put it on your plate, right? Choose to enjoy it and savor it, okay? Just make sure it's a choice that'll make you feel good. Sometimes there are foods that we crave and we know that an hour after we eat them, our body does not feel good, right? We start to have an energy crash, we start to feel bloated or something like that. If it's going to make you feel physically like crap, I would skip it, okay? That food is not serving you, all right? I skipped number four. Number four is just to stay hydrated, right? At these special occasions, if there's alcohol going around, you can alternate alcohol, water, alcohol, water. If you're able to skip the alcohol altogether, more power to you because, again, aside from social benefits, it really doesn't have anything to offer us in terms of our health, okay? Especially if we're training hard and trying to recover and be as healthy as possible, alcohol really doesn't serve us. But I do get that if you're able to drink alcohol in a responsible manner and it helps you kind of relax and wind down, 1 to 2 servings is not going to be a big deal for most people, okay? And then number six is the most important part. The next day, you need to crush your morning routine and get right back on track, okay? The problem with weekends is that we have maybe 1 or 2 events scheduled, right? On average, most weekends. It's not a 3 day extravaganza every single weekend for most people where they have 3 events in a row, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So when you're not at those events, you need to fall back on that healthy routine where you're getting your steps, you're getting your protein, and you're eating your home cooked meals as much as possible. Okay. One tip that's not on here, let's say, if you do have body composition goals, whether that's fat loss or muscle gain, with some fat loss, or just maintaining your weight and just having that flip flop where you're, like I said, gaining muscle and losing a little bit of fat, leaning out. Um, that's really, really important to try and get your homemade meals like as much as possible. Let's say, for example, I'm going to make this a little bit more practical rather than me just describing it. So let's say I have my Halloween party at night, right? I can start to budget my calories and budget my nutrients earlier in the day to allow for more nutrients and more calories at that party, right? So for example, if I usually have a big breakfast and a big lunch, maybe I'm going to have my breakfast and instead of a big lunch, I'm going to have maybe a half size lunch, right? And really prioritize the protein and cut out the carbs because I know at this party someone's making tres leches cake and I'm gonna really want a slice of that or something like that. So I can start to adjust the rest of my day so that the the party at the end of the day isn't going to totally wipe out all of the progress that I've made, right? If I'm in a weight loss phase and I'm trying to be in a calorie deficit where I burn more calories than I eat, then I can just budget my calories during the day a little bit differently, but not at the expense of protein. Just remember that, okay? All right. And then I always, I kind of dive into this a little bit. It's a little philosophical, but, this is a thought that holds people back. Life is too short not to enjoy, not to treat yourself. And I do agree with that, which is why I try to emphasize that if there is something you're really looking forward to eating and it is meaningful to you and it's going to be a great experience, do not deprive yourself of that experience, right? It's not an everyday food, it's a once a week type of food, right? Um, but also, we do have to keep in mind life is also too short to fill our bodies with crap food. I've gotten a little bit more stringent on this over the years. I was very, very flexible. I was a big fan of flexible dieting for a while, where if someone really liked, those if they had those cravings for sweets and refined carbohydrates, I was a little bit more lenient about that and helping them figure out ways to fit them in, maybe more than just once a week. Um, because you can still lose fat while you're eating those foods. But at the end of the day, the ingredients straight up just aren't good for us when we're eating refined sugars and processed carbohydrates and things that really have no nutritional value, no fiber, no protein. It's not good. And there's a lot of studies coming out about some of those like ingredients that are hard to pronounce. They're really, really risky for our health, it turns out. Momo, relax. So before these dogs go crazy, I'm going to sign off. I hope that was helpful for you guys. Make sure you take screenshots of those infographics that have some healthy options for on the go, okay? Let me know if you have any questions.